Hey folks, you're listening to the Wrecking Crew Comedy Podcast, and today I'm talking to a buddy of mine that I have not spoken to in so long. It's good because I can't stand him. I do that on purpose because, anyways, he's the leader of the pact. Anyways, he's in charge. He's the boss at the Great Debate community, right, Steve?
That would be correct, my friend.
And he is hopped up on, is it um, coffee or a Percocet?
This would be a dark roast blend. 3 cups, I think I've had so far.
Right. Okay. So it is
Mhm.
Percocet. All right.
Yeah, pretty much. It's equivalency.
S-
Yeah,
So, how is the great debate going?
it's going well. It hasn't been decided yet. So as long as the great debate question is still out there, we'll be around. Yeah.
What do you mean it has been decided?
No, well, the great debate question is, does God exist? Since it hasn't really been decided yet, we still have a community that still talks about it.
Oh fuck. That's why I can't. I can't. I don't know. You're like, why don't you come on? And I'm like, I don't need to be depressed. And that's
Yeah.
why this story here that bugged me. And I know this is like going to be the sad part is this is going to be the I think the 150 million video about this poor Keating Jones boy that I wanted to talk about, and I wanted to talk to you about it because I know you're a smart guy. I was gonna get Oz, but he's busy building, I believe, a fucking snow castle,
He's
or
doing igloos, yeah.
yeah,
So if you
he
can't get the odds, you get the Steve. I love that. That's awesome. Thank you.
no, I actually went through about 8 or 9 other people.
Yeah, I
And
figured as
then
much.
after that, I was like, fuck. I saw you on Facebook, and I was like, I'll just ask him and whatever. And you're like, sure, sure. I'm not doing anything. I don't give a shit.
Actually,
I'll do
I
that.
think I
I was like,
responded.
I
Who
was
were
like,
you again?
I was
Is that
like,
what I
oh
said?
fuck no, please. I do not want him. I do not want him. And please say no. So. All right, so back to the Keating Jones, and I know this is going to be the 100 million video about this poor kid, and I tried to show you. I sent you about 3 or 4 videos of people doing videos about the boy, and I tried to send you the most popular ones, okay? Because there are so many out there, but I was trying to get you the highest count to show this is what the information that is out there. So, what were your thoughts on it?
Well, let me start by saying that the first thing that I feel sorry for this kid.
Yeah,
There's no question about that. This kid is put in a situation that he should not be in. He's 10 years old. He's thrust into the internet, which is obviously more of an adult playground for people. I I don't think that regardless of the situations with his parents or his mom, I should say, that people should be mocking him for what he put out on his video.
but
There's no rhyme or reason to mock a 10-year-old
right,
child.
right,
Period.
right.
It just isn't. So I'm pretty appalled by those basically all those videos that you showed me
They're
of all these
disgusting,
people.
Steve. They are
Yeah, they
disgusting.
are.
And
And the worst part is,
this is the part that bothered me the most. I was like, he's 10 years old, and if you go by the story, all the mother was trying to do was just she just wanted to show the school administration. I mean, my child has been bullied. We've gone
right.
to the school. We've talked about it, and they've done nothing about it. I mean, people go, "Well, they should have went to the school. They should have." I've done it. They do fuck all about it. Okay, we're on it. I mean, the school that he's at is, I think, designed for 600 kids. There's fucking 900 children that go to the school, so they cannot um, maintain, but uh, it's a tough situation, and um, this all this mother wanted to do, and this is just my opinion, okay? She just wanted to show a video. She was sick of her boy getting constantly made fun of, and you could see by the way he talks, and he's had surgeries on his face, and I mean, to sit there, and she just wanted to send it out there, and the sister sent it out there, and you can make a video the greatest video on the planet. Like, you know, you hear the story of movies that have been made where they have blown $500 million and they don't release them because they suck. Okay, um, and that's true. I mean, there you could look that up and see that, you know, there are movies where they have blown millions and millions of dollars where you just sit there and go, why did they just give me the money? I would sit comfortably at home. Like, I would just love it. But no, they blew millions and millions of dollars and they got nothing. They knew it was going to be a flop, a bomb. They were worried to release it, so they just said no. This would do more damage. And this woman just wanted to send it out. Now, what happened to the administrators to show the hell her boy goes through? And a lot of kids go through this hell. So she wanted to show this. And it exploded. Absolutely exploded. And next thing you know, you got you got all these people, supporting him, and which is great. But then within 24 hours, all of a sudden, you have this Joe Schilling. And I was going to make fun of Joe Schilling. Joe Schilling, is that boxer or fighter, right? And I just thought, this guy got played. He came on, did a video saying that he talked to the mother on the phone, and she just wants money. But he was actually being played by somebody else. So instead of, and I sent it out and I messaged him, which I'm sure the brain dead fucking retard didn't even look at, because he's just, and I should call myself brain dead myself, because I went on Twitter to try and find the kid. I thought I found him. He tweeted back to me, like a video. He liked a video. He retweeted it. And then I looked at, he said, and this is the thing. He said, I talked it over with my parents, and they said it would be good. It would be okay if I did my own page, right? Well, if you look at the bottom of where it had, Keating, his name and everything, it said joined 2013. Well, the boy is 10 years old. Unless he's doing somebody else's account, then he made this when he was, 5 years old? 6 years old? No, 4? He would be 4 years old, 2013, if he's 10. No, what am I?
No, it'd be six. It'd be
Yeah,
six.
he'd
10
be
minus
6.
4 is 6.
Yes, yeah.
This is why he brought me on to do the math.
The math shit. So he's 6 years old. So in a way, it's like you feel like, oh, I got played too, and so did Joe. Now, the thing is, what bothered me about the fighter was he could have gone on social media and said, by the way, I got played. It wasn't the mom. Okay, it was somebody else that was trying to cash in on this boy. Okay, and what happened is most people, and this is why I hate most people, are idiots. Okay, they just run to they just run to this. Oh, he's racist. It's all about the money. I'm sorry. It's all about the money. It's all about the money. First 24 hours, all about the money. Then it turned into, hey, did you know the boy said the N-word? That's why they beat him up, Steve. He said the N-word. And there is absolutely no evidence. No one has come forward to say he called me the N-word or we saw him say the N-word. Okay? So there's zero there. Somebody did do an account for the kid, which raised $58,000. But they did it, they said they wanted him to have, like, who knows exactly what the person's intentions were, but here's the thing. If I were to do a GoFundMe and I said it's Steve McRae and it came to me, I can't have the money, right? So it would go to you regardless, even if you didn't want it. And the mother said, I do not want this money. Okay? But yet people, and I'm sorry, it is mostly black social media, and I know people are going to go, oh, he's racist, here he goes. No, I've been looking at this shit. It's disgusting. Like the video that I showed you, was it not nothing but just a bunch of black men making fun of um, this kid, pretending to cry in their car? Hey, we got the money, and I'm thinking, sorry, like that just like that's just disgusting. Now this kid is being bullied by adults, and that's not what the mother wanted. The mother just wanted to show that her kid is being bullied. And then you have other fuckheads out there that are saying, "Well, I was bullied." And they make it about themselves. I was bullied. What is there any proof that this boy was bullied? He was an actor, and I'm thinking this boy deserves an Oscar for that performance. Okay, because if he could act like that, that boy should be in movies. He should be fucking Ben Affleck, who his I believe his ancestors, which is 100% proof. There was one of his somebody in his family over 100 years ago that owned slaves, but Ben Affleck wanted to make sure that didn't get out there. But if you look it up, he did. But there is no flack about him owning slaves. Okay, so this boy never said the N word. And then when people sit there and say, there's nobody that come forward. It's amazing. No one has come forward to say, yeah, he called me the N word. Because it never, I believe that's never going to happen. Because I believe that he's a good boy. I really do. I think he's got a good heart. Um, Again, this is just me talking, okay? And you could take it whatever way you want. You can sit there and go, yeah, he's a racist. He said the N word. But if you look it up, never did. When people go, hey, where was the bullying? Is there proof of him being bullied? Well, the school released three public newsletters that he's been bullied 3 times so far. We have that. My kid has been bullied, but yet they didn't do shit about it. They were like, yeah, we'll look into it. You know, there's nothing they could do, Steve. There's zero. Okay, and everybody there's been and the message is this is the message. There is bullying. It does damage. It destroys a person's um, self confidence. God, people, growing up as a kid, when you're a kid, you saw this shit out there. You saw how vicious kids could get, and all Keating was trying to do was just to show it's out there. Please be aware of it. Kids kill themselves every year. I mean, there were stories up here of 2 kids that have committed suicide of being bullied to death, cyber bullied, and I think that is why you don't see Keating on social media, and he's away from it, and he's at home, and he's hopefully playing Xbox or whatever, and he's not seeing these disgusting fucking videos. I mean, you know, Steve, there was one guy, and I rarely ever get into it with another person, but there was one guy. He wrote a video. He did a video, and he said, "That boy Keating, racist. Whole family's racist." Okay, well the dad's racist, and I'll get to the mom in a sec. The dad for sure is 100% racist, but he wrote down, Keating Jones. That boy looks like Jason from Friday the 13th without the mask. And I'm like, you're a grown ass man, and this is what you say to a fucking kid, a child? Like, you're a fucking grown ass man. Even though I understand that you're black and you hate racist people and the father is a pure blood racist person, okay? But to call the child that, to say to the child, look at your fucking disgusting face, kid, I mean, what the fuck is wrong with you? And that's what I put down. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Now, I believe he took down the video, or it's out there somewhere, but I couldn't find it because I'd sent it to you. And I'm like, well, why? Now, why would you do that to the kid? I understand you hate the kid. I mean, you hate the dad, okay? I get it, all right? But that's the dad, okay? Why don't you go and stop watching Batman? Batman, Ben Affleck's ancestors owned slaves, for fuck's sakes, okay? So why don't you sit there and make a fucking video about Ben Affleck and don't go see his movies and his great grandparents. And you know why they don't do that? Is because it's not Ben. Ben never did this stuff. It was his ancestors, okay? And like this little boy, he never did any of this shit, okay? His dad's in jail. And the thing about his dad, I know I'm going to let you speak in a sec. His dad, okay, has a different last name. Now, if you know anything about dads, my wife does not have my last name. She has her last name. But I made it 100%. You call me a fucking sexist or whatever. I said, my kids are going to have my last name. And she's like, yeah, no problem. I'm like, my boy, my daughter, they're going to have my last name, period. Now, you could imagine a racist guy, I believe his last name is White, that has a boy. He would sit there and tell his wife, by the way, that boy, that Keaton, is going to have my last name. He's going to be a white boy. My last name's White. He's going to be white. I'm proud to be fucking white. And the mom said, nope. He's going to have my last name. And there's fuck all you could do about it. Okay? And they show these pictures of her with the Confederate flag. Steve, my favorite show growing up was the Dukes of Hazzard. Okay? I'm sorry, I'm from Canada. We never had slaves, I believe, up here. No one here. I don't think anybody had slaves, and I'm not trying to be funny. That was not part of our culture. My black friend, and people are like, oh, he's got a black friend. Well, growing up, my best friend was black, and our favorite show was the Dukes of Hazzard. We loved that show. And we never thought of Bo and Luke and the General Lee, that car. We fell in love with that car. It had anything to do with racists. It was just a fun show. But now, guess what? They take that show off the air. That show, you can't see that show on the air. They don't, because they're like, oh, they got that Confederate flag on there. So you got to remember, this woman grew up at a time when, I've done interviews with people that are from Kentucky. They see the flag all the time. The flag is out all over the place. And it can't be, I guess, in public areas, like a public building, but people show them at their houses, like their porches or whatever. It's just part of their heritage. Now, does that make her racist? I don't think it does. Her taking a picture with it, okay? I don't taking a picture with a Confederate flag. Now, if it was a Nazi flag, okay, now I'd be like, well, that's kind of bad. But her with a Confederate flag, it's a fucking flag, okay? She grew up at a time when Dukes of Hazzards were on. She's got to be well over her. She's got to be over 45 years old. It was a different time for her. She took a picture. Now, real quick, I had a picture, like, people went through her Facebook and found these pictures of the boy holding the flag, Keating holding the flag, and her holding up a flag, smiling, with some other person, and it's, you know, it's, you could tell it's at a party because it's dark out, or they're in the backyard or whatever. And I didn't mean to. My child loves watermelon. Okay, and it wasn't Kentucky Fried Chicken, but it was fried chicken, and I had fried chicken and watermelon, and somebody took a picture of it. Okay, and then this woman who books gigs for me says, "Vito, get that off. I can't book gigs for you." And I'm like, "Well, what are you talking about?" She's like, "People are gonna think you're racist," and I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about?" You know, she's like, you're sitting there eating a watermelon and you got Kentucky Fried Chicken beside you. And I'm like, yeah, I like my watermelon and I like chicken. That doesn't mean I'm racist. She's like, well, people are going to see it and think you are racist. They're going to say, this guy's a racist fucking piece of shit. Look at him making fun of black people. And I'm like, and I caved. I took it down. I was like, all right, I get it. All right. You know, I guess I can't have watermelon and fried chicken because it would make me look racist. And I'm like, this is the society we live in. The society of, it's gotten to the point, Steve, where you can't call a woman hot anymore, attractive. You can't. You're objectifying women. Okay, that word, they're trying to get rid of that. You can't call a woman hot. Okay, and I mean, you could bully a boy that's gone through hell. You could bully him, but this other shit, you can't do that. You can't. I mean, we've turned into. This is the thing that freaked me out, and I know, I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot. This is the thing that freaked me out, and was when a woman said this, and she had well over 1,000 likes on her Twitter. She put down, and it had a picture of Keaton crying, and underneath it had a black guy doing the exact same thing, crying, and he was this big fat black guy crying just like Keaton. And she says, I can't look at this stuff anymore because it makes me hate black people. And she had over 1,000 likes, and I'm like, I understand, I get it. People are just, instead of people, I mean, we're in almost 2000, what is it, 2000, what are we in, 2017 or 18?
2017.
All right, so
almost 2018.
Okay, so 2018, and we're still talking about this race bullshit. White people and black people, they're still fighting. And when I was a kid, growing up, I never heard the N word. Okay, until I was about 9 years old. It was me and Gavin Wright, and Gavin stuck his head out the window of the school bus, and somebody called him the N word. And Gavin started crying. I didn't understand it, okay? And I started crying too, because he's crying. And then his older brother Michael came over to calm Gavin down. And then I went home, and the only time I've ever said the N-word was to my dad. I said, Dad, what does N mean? My dad, sitting on the couch, turned to me and said, don't ever say that word again. And I said, so it's a really bad word. And he goes, whoever said that word is an uneducated person. And to my dad, that means the person is stupid. He's an idiot. Okay? It means he didn't go to school. He's borderline dumb. He is dumb. So I've never said the word because it just reminds me of Gavin. Okay? So we live in a time where you could bully a kid, you could lie, you could fucking make a kid, you just make stuff up without looking at the context or looking at the facts that are out there. Okay? And then you have people going, oh, it was all about the money. It was all about the money. And it was like, no, it wasn't. Somebody else, it was a third party that the family didn't even know. The mother said, just give it to charity. Okay? I don't want it. We don't want it. Okay? Just fuck off. Just leave us alone. Okay? The daughter puts down, if you look at any of the Mother Day or Father Day, all we have is our mother. We have nothing to do with our dad. That's why we call it estranged. Okay? Has nothing to do. And I guess people don't understand what that estranged means. But for some reason they think, no, the dad's racist, the whole family's fucking racist, that kid's racist, the mom's racist, the fucking whole community's racist. It's a sickness, and I feel um, disgusted at the world when I look at this. And I just think, fuck, this kid's never gonna win. And you know what? He's gonna win. He's a tough kid. He's a smart kid. Um, Ben Shapiro said something that I agree with 80% of the stuff Ben Shapiro said. But he said this is the worst thing the mother could have done because now this kid is going to get it a lot worse once all the stars go away and people don't want to take their picture with him and blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking, no. That kid is going to look back and look and say, you know what? I brought attention to this bullshit. I brought attention to bullying. And you know what? If I don't get to go to premieres where they promise me premieres, and people are going to look at this and think, well, my dad's racist, so I guess I must be racist. And if they believe the bullshit, no, I don't care. I just don't. I think the kid, when he cried and he just couldn't take it anymore, he just had enough. It just got to him. It just, you break down, okay? After being fucking punched so many times in the face, you're gonna bleed, no matter how tough you think your skin is. And that day, he bled. And he showed the world that. And the world, instead of the world saying, hey, that was, there's a problem out there, you have these parasites that just dig and dig and dig. Let's go on their Facebook. Let's check this out. Let's look at it. Oh, wait. Hey, and it's disgusting. And social media has turned into a disease, Steve. It's turned into a disease. So anyways, go on. I'm sorry. I know I rambled. Go on. It was just I
No,
just
that's
had
quite
this
all right.
pent up
Yeah, let it
anger.
out, man. Vent. Let it out. Rant.
I just couldn't believe the shit that they put this kid through. And I just think, how the fuck how can you not look at the father and think the son is racist in any way? The father's in fucking prison. He doesn't even have the same name. If that was me, my boy, I'd be like, you know what, woman? You will give that boy my name. Okay? Because I'm a proud white boy. And that's, he's going to be a white boy. And they have, the poor sister has to stick up for her brother and say, no, we don't have anything to do with him. And nobody has come forward to say, yeah, they hang out with the dad, they go visit, I'm sure the father has, where he explodes and says, if I don't see my boy when I get out of here, again, you know, you don't live their life. We only see little snippets, but from those little snippets, no one's connecting the dots. No one's sitting there and saying, um, has to just do about bullying. Has nothing to do with the mom or the father or any of that shit. Has to do with just bullying. And if you watch the video, fuck, it just makes your eyes water. Because you realize, holy shit, like, the hell, this boy, like, why do they do it? Why do they need to bully? And that was the message, Steve. Okay? Not this, he's racist, and it's just social media in the last 48 hours has just become fucking disgusting. And it's just, I had to go off of, I couldn't look it up. When you're just sitting there on the computer, you're like, well, let me just see what's going on. you type up his name and you see these fucking videos about him, and you just sit there and go, so, and I guarantee you, these guys that do that make these videos about that boy and calling him names and racist and all that shit, I guarantee you, they're all Christian. I guarantee you, they're all Christian. And I just sit there and go, if you believe in a God, you think God would like what you're doing? Like, I understand that you don't like the Father. Okay, I get it. I totally fucking understand that. Okay? But to pick on a boy, a little kid, and just make fun of him. I mean, there was this fucking loser. I don't even want to say his name. He's like, he watches the video, then he runs out to his car and he redoes the video. He puts water, bottled water in his eyes, and he starts crying. And this fucking guy gets, thousands of hits and thumbs up, and oh, that's funny. And I'm like, this is the world we live in, man. I use my real name. I don't hide. I don't use a fake name. And all these fucking lowlives all use fake names. It's like, if you're a man, use your name. I mean, you go on Twitter and watch some chick take a dick in the ass, and but yet, people give that thumbs up, but yet a little kid, they will say the most rudest, disgusting things. I'm like, where's humanity? That's why I question God. I'm like, where is the fucking humanity? Where do you sit there and sit back and say, I this is wrong? Let the kid enjoy his life. Leave him alone. What joy do I have of making a video of me making fun of a child? Because maybe one day he'll see it. You're gonna hurt him, his feelings. And I'm like, well, why would you enjoy that? What is the enjoyment in that? And you sit there and you think you're a fucking parasite. It's all you are. You're a fucking parasite if you do stuff like that. Let the kid be a kid. Let him enjoy his life. You don't like his dad, you don't like his dad. I mean, TMZ made this stupid fucking video because I guess they have nothing better to do. They need a hot story. They need a hot story. They need to keep this going, because they know this is gold. And they make a whole video about the money and, oh, what are they going to do about the money and blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, this is old news. The mother said she doesn't want the money. If the mother takes the money, then do a story about that. Okay? But until then, stop talking out of your ass. Just let it go. Just let them enjoy their fucking lives. But no, we destroy them. We cannot. I mean, I remember when Rock Hudson got AIDS, and I never seen such viciousness, such people making jokes about it, and just, if anything goes wrong, like with a celebrity, we love to watch them get destroyed. We love to see people die, pretty much. And I just think, society-wise, what a disgusting society. Like if I was a fucking alien species, and I do believe there are alien species out there that do watch us, and they must think this is the most disgusting creatures that they've ever encountered in the universe. I mean, we are a species. There are people out there that have more money than fucking God, literally. That could help people. No kid needs to be starving to death. There are people that need operations that can't afford them. And they end up dying. Old people can't get their medicines because it costs too much. But yet there's fucking, one guy owns 15 goddamn Ferraris. You got this Indian guy, one of the richest guys in the world, he literally lives in a building, a fucking skyscraper. That's his house. I mean, how much do you need, Steve? How much do you need? But it's like, and I think all these guys are atheists. I do. I think when you're that rich, you become an atheist because you just sit there and go, well, God isn't gonna give it. There is no God. You got one life. You die. You try and get as many toys as possible, and that's it. Because if they did believe in God, they would sit there and go, you know what? I really don't need a skyscraper for a house. When I mean skyscraper, Steve, I mean a fucking skyscraper. Okay? When I mean yachts that are the size of a fucking island, I mean, do you really need that? A yacht that has a fucking submarine attached to it. I mean, do you need that? No. But that that's their thing. It's like I honestly believe that they don't believe in God. They just sit there and go, I'm pure atheist. Because if they did believe in God, they would sit there and go, when I die, I'm going to stand in front of the boss, and he's going to sit there and go, you had all this fucking money. All this fucking money. You have these giant yachts. You have all this shit. And you couldn't help out. You couldn't build a hospital. And there are a few guys that do that. And I take it back. There are a few fucking guys that are multi-billionaires that do that. Okay? But the majority don't. And that's a fact. There's more billionaires out now than any other time on this planet. Okay? And if just fucking 50% of them were to just give half of what they have to the general public, it'd be a different world completely. It'd be like Star Trek from the 80s. Okay? Not the Dukes of Hazzard. It would be Star Trek, where money meant nothing. You took care of people, you respected people, you loved them. But no, we don't live in that time. And I don't think we're gonna make it. I really don't. I don't think as a species, we're gonna make it. I feel bad for my kids. I sit there and I go, I really worry that as a species, racism will go to an all-time fucking high. Something horrible's gonna happen. Somebody's gonna blow up a fucking city, okay? And do I think it's the end of times and fucking God, Satan and God? No, I don't believe any of that shit. I just think as a species, when I look at shit like this, it makes me question humanity and makes me sit there and go, I don't think we're gonna make it as a species. I really don't. The strong will survive. No, the mentally challenged seem to be the only ones that survive. And again, I guess I'm just talking out of anger. But after seeing 4 days of this shit with this fucking kid and people feeding off of it, hey, subscribe, hey, go to my Patreon so I can make more of these fucking horrible videos, and people follow them like fucking sheep, and it's like, be a wolf. Why don't you be a wolf? Why don't you fucking, be a fucking grown up? How about that? Be a fucking grown up. It's all about subs and let's send me money so I can make more horrible fucking videos of making fun of people. We live in such a I make fun of people, okay, but the shit that's out there, I have to stay away from it. My neighbor, he's like, I don't go on there. He's like, it's depressing. And I get it. I'm like, I totally understand. And that's why, like, when I stopped going to the community that you have, it was just depressing, Steve. It was depressing. I had a talk with Oz, and Oz was just a sweet, kind, beautiful man that I love. Okay, and I talked to Alex Malpaz. I'm sorry, my voice is fucked up. And he's another beautiful human being. And they talk sense to you, and and there's a compassion there. And these guys, they're not, they're not Christians or anything like that, but they talk sense, okay? But there's so many out there. You wish you could. There was a machine that you can make a fucking a billion of them. Instead of having these fucking cancerous, disease-ridden fucking rejects walking the planet. These fucking mongoloids, whatever the fuck they are, walking around. You would have people with brains, compassion, love. Don't be so quick to judge. Don't look at others. Look at yourself. I'm not perfect. Fuck, you know that. You know I'm an idiot, for fuck's sakes. Okay? But when somebody's hurting, fuck, I'll do my best to help. Okay? If you need help, I'll fucking help you. Okay? It's just fucking called. I can't even say the word human being anymore, because it's just it's become a dirty word. I'd rather be an alien. I honestly would, and just say, get the fuck off this planet, take my family away, and this brown piece of shit that used to be green, and the oceans and life was, I would take my family and just find a fucking other civilization. I guarantee you they would be 100 million times better. I don't give a fuck if it's robots, okay? But I just, they're disgusting. I mean, the shit that's out there. And how do you police the internet? You can't. And these fucking maggots know that. And they go about just teasing and making fun of somebody and just saying the most rude, lying things. And it's like that. Anyways, I'm sorry. I didn't even give you a chance to speak, for fuck's sakes. I'm sorry. Go on, Steve.
I'm sorry. Where am I? Where am I now? I don't know where I'm at. Oh, hey, hi. No, no. Well, you brought up so many things. I don't even know where to opine at this point. I don't know where to even start. Yeah. Look, I agree with everything you've said so far. There's no question about it, and I don't think it matters one iota if this kid did say the N word. I don't give a crap if his parents are racist or not. It has no relevancy whatsoever to this kid being bullied.
Right.
There are ways that kids should handle things, and when somebody says something inappropriately, even as a child, you don't respond the way that these people were responding to him or that were bullying him, and there's no justification for it in any way. So that, with that said, there's always going to be multiple sides of a story, and as we both know, and as you most certainly know, the internet is a cesspool. It is literally the worst of the worst getting together and basically seeing who could be the biggest ass, and that person kind of rises to the top. That's what people seem to be drawn to in certain areas, right? Obviously, in the great
Right.
debate community, we frown upon that. We want the creme de the creme to be the people with the best arguments, the articulate arguments, the rational arguments, the intelligent arguments, not let me mock this kid and try
Yeah.
to get views out of it, because I find that to be morally reprehensible and disgusting.
Right.
And if this kid wasn't racist before, he probably might be now a little bit.
I don't know.
You,
I know what
you
you're
know,
saying. So
yeah, I mean, I hope
don't
not.
try and be funny like me. Okay. Don't ever try and outdo me. Okay.
Is that how
I
you laugh out?
understand what you're saying,
That's
though.
like a comedic wit.
I understand what you're saying, though, and I agree with you. I'm sorry. I agree with you.
Well, because you're smart.
Well, I mean, if I was out there and I saw a bunch of black people, and I hate to say it that way, but if I saw a bunch of black people sitting there and constantly, doing, what was the one video? Fuck, a half hour of just mocking this child.
Yeah, I say no need for it. I mean, again, let's put this in perspective. This is a 10-year-old kid. This is not like some adult that made a video
Right.
that after that point, yeah, what you put out there is up for scrutiny. Sorry, we all do it. I have well over, I don't know, 600 videos. I've been in 1,000 hangouts over the last 4 years. So I know whatever I say is up for scrutiny. I'm well aware of that. But I'm an adult.
Right.
So I'm saying, I'm like you, bring it at me, right? If you want to challenge me, hey, I'm there.
But do you
If I'm
remember,
wrong, go
Steve?
ahead.
But do you remember when that mentally challenged guy, your father passed away, and you know, that's horrible, and I feel for you. That's when I think about you, I think about your dad. I do.
All right. Thank
So,
you.
and the guy that, you know, you're a grown man, and he went and used. I'm not gonna say his name because I don't want people to even look this fucking parasite up. But he went and used your dad's name when he was talking to you in a hangout to get you going.
Well, what happened was he had just to give a little background on this. I was under my main account, which is my real name. He had blocked that account,
Right.
and then they're like, "No, Steve, come back in. He still wants to have a conversation." I'm like, "Then why did he kick me out and block me?" Oh, wait, that's what he always does because he gets his ass handed to him.
Right.
And again, I'm not going to mention his name either. But so I had to go on an alternate account, right? And at the time, I
Yeah.
had no socks.
Yes.
I only had my account and my father's, who was obviously deceased, as you've said.
Right.
So I went under my father's account, which I do, have access to. Well, instead of calling me by my name, Steve, which he's known me for the longest time. I mean, he knows my name is Steve. He kept calling me my father's name because I was on the film strip. That's the name that came up from the hangout. And even his own Christian brethren were like, that's just pretty lame, man.
Yeah. But
That's
this
just
is but
idiotic.
as a grown man, you gotta admit that did bother you.
Of course it bothered me a little bit, only for the fact that I couldn't believe that a grown man like this person was calling me my deceased father's name and thinking it was appropriate.
Yeah.
I think that was more bothersome than anything else. Of course, I mean, I'm not bothered by things as such as trivialities as like that, but it did surprise me that this person didn't see the problem with it when
No,
everybody else did.
but no, his deal was it was just he wanted to be mean.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, it's possible. But
Hey
either way,
man, if I'm calling you,
reason.
if I know your name's Steve and I'm calling you, and you come back into the hangout and I've talked to you over a dozen times, and then I start calling you by your dad, and I know who else said, I believe it was Anarchy or what's his name. He's a good guy. He just said, "Hey man, stop that. That's not cool." Okay.
Yeah, there's a couple of them that actually pointed
Yeah,
that out.
that actually, you know, that said, you know what, that is wrong. Stop it. Okay.
But I didn't go out and make a video. Oh, this guy's bullying me because he's my father's name. I mean, I didn't even make an issue about it. Matter of fact, other people made much more of an issue.
Well, yeah, I thought it was fucking disgusting. I thought it was like like I mean, how
the internet's a cesspool because look at if they can't get look at as somebody who's an integral part of the Great Debate community, because I am the owner of the Great Debate community, I do have to get involved in discussions every so often, and these discussions are basically who has the better argument, who can actually defend the position and assert their position, and we talk about all kinds of stuff. It's not just about God, by the way. We've actually moved into social commentary, so we have politics now, and we also obviously have philosophy and science, a lot of science-driven stuff, as you know.
Yeah, I hate that part.
Yeah, that makes it even worse. But yeah, when we do that, though, we know that what we say is going to be scrutinized. I just think this kid was put in a very bad position, and the cesspool of the internet that's out there are taking advantage of it to no end. And I think that the best course of action for this kid is just to stay away from the internet for a while. Right. I think if his mom, again, I don't care if she's racist. And I let me touch on a few things real quick because you had brought up so many things, and I was mentally taking notes.
Sorry,
and
Steve. I just had to. You know the way I just go off to Pluto. Is it a planet? Is Pluto a planet anymore?
No, it's a minor planet.
All right, minor planet.
It's not considered a planet. It's considered a minor planet or dwarf planet, but it's not officially a planet. No.
Well, you know the way I get.
No worries, but I'm trying to make some mental notes because you had mentioned something about like the Confederate flag,
Right.
And there's two ways to look at the Confederate flag. Obviously, because slavery was an integral part of the South, that people still look at that Confederate flag and see that it represents slavery. And I understand that position. However, many of the people that are Southerners, and I know a lot of them, they don't use that symbol that way, and they want to get away from that, and they want to put that Confederate symbol as just the culture that the Southerners had, which was I mean, except for the slavery, obviously, it was very rich history in the Southern states,
Right.
and it was pride. I mean, just like anything else. And so I you can't just look at them holding the Confederate flag and say instantly, "Oh, that's person racist." No, that's not how they might be using that symbol. Symbols are just symbols. I mean, the Nazi swastika originally was a derivation of the of an
Hindu.
Indian symbol.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was the
yeah.
Hindu.
Well, I think it was the I think it was a medicine type symbol. I don't remember the exact details, but
Yeah,
yeah,
but
but these symbols just represent what they are for the zeitgeist, the period of the time.
but
And
you
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 and
could you couldn't see the Dukes of Hazzard with the fucking Nazi
and I
symbol
like
on
the
it.
Dukes. I love the Dukes of Hazzard. Daisy Duke. Oh my
Oh,
God.
I know. I jerked
Oh,
off so many times about
oh,
her, and it's
she's
just
probably 80, and I'm still probably would be like,
no. She's still
oh,
all right looking. She
I'm sure
is.
she is.
She is. She's a good looking woman. I mean,
Yeah, it's a great show.
but Steve, you can't see the show. They won't do reruns on it, and they were
Yeah, that's
doing
pretty
reruns of
sad.
that show up until the late '90s.
Yeah, that's pretty sad. Well, I'll give you a perfect example. Like the one hangout I had not too long ago, I referred to somebody as Oriental.
Right.
Okay, which I should have known better because I do know the difference between Asian and Oriental. But of course, 10, 20 years ago, nobody would have thought twice about it. But of course now, oh, you can't say Oriental because Oriental means something physically like a rug. You have an Oriental rug, but a person is not Oriental; they're Asian. So
But is it
people will
wrong?
point that
Is
out
it is
nowadays.
it wrong to say Oriental food?
Um, Oriental
Like the
food.
Great Orient, right? They used to call it the Orient Express. What are they? They're going to change it to um, Express? I mean, are they going to change Express? I mean, the Great Oriental
Yeah,
Express.
no, food is a commodity, so I don't think there'd be a problem with Oriental food. You just can't say Oriental in regards to a person because they're not a commodity.
Oh, okay. Well, I
Yeah.
didn't I didn't know that. I
So of course, people get outraged at that, and I'm like, okay, I apologize. Yeah, I do understand that. I did know the difference, but again, 20 years ago, that wouldn't even been a factor. But people, I think nowadays, are very hypersensitive to these things, and I do understand the reasoning. There is a reason to be sensitive, but the hypersensitive, I think, has a counter effect. I think it makes people um, less willing to hear your position if you're at that point where you're going out seriously looking for anything to harp upon. The whole
right.
thing with like microtransgressions and things like or micro what are they called micro aggressions, not transgressions, microaggressions. So I'm wondering if the pendulum is going to start swinging the other way soon. Right now, the movement for the social justice warriors, and yes, that is a pejorative term. I admit that, and they do exist. I think that that's kind of having a backlash now, and I think that the people are kind of realizing that there is an extreme form of social justice warriors out there, and a lot of people don't want to be associated with that. And I think they want to go back to this more normative type of thing that we had 10, 20 years ago, where people didn't take things so personally.
Right. I
Didn't
know.
take things
I know.
so
God.
everything now is a slight. You say something wrong. Oh, this is an insult to me. Well, if something's not intended to be an insult, if I'm not intending to cause you mental harm or insult you verbally, that's not an insult.
Maybe I look at the world as I get older. I realize time goes by quicker. As you get older and older, you realize that time just flies, and you worry for the future. Because once you're gone, I just think you're gone, man. You know. But what's left? You want to leave it. How you. You know how you're immortal. This is my thought. You're immortal by how you kind of leave the planet, how you put a germ inside somebody's head. And that little germ that you put in their head, not germ, but that little thought pattern, that will translate, that person will give it to somebody else. And, in 800 years, if the planet makes it, they'll never go, oh, that came from Steve or that came from Vito. It was just this thought that this thing that you gave them 800 years ago. That's what makes you immortal. That's how you never die. That's how you carry on.
Yeah, no, I think that's something that I totally agree with. I think that when people say, "Well, what's your purpose in life?" As a non-believer, because I'm an agnostic, which is not the same as atheist, but that's another topic we'll have. Touched people's lives in many different ways. I can safely say that because of my interactions, that at least 3 or 4 people have gotten married, kids. I mean, and this is not just with me. This is everybody infects everybody else's life. That's your legacy. That's your I think is a purpose to exist. And
Right.
so you don't have to have a God belief to have a purpose. And I wanted to throw that out there as a person who has a non-belief position.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. You leave. Um, and again, your child will look at you and say, um, "Is Dad good? Was my father good or bad?" And I think the same thing with the Keating thing. Keating boy would be like, "Was Dad good or bad?" He is my father. I get that. It sucks, but you know what? That's your dad, and he's probably gonna sit there and go, "You know what? He's my dad. I don't agree with him, but he's my dad. We have nothing to do with him. That is my father. Without this is all hypothetical, but I just think there's nothing you could do. If that's your dad, that's your dad. If your dad fucking murdered 20 people, that doesn't mean you're gonna murder 20 people. That just means that you know what I mean? Like,
mhm.
so I that's where I don't get where people sit there and call the little kid a racist. Oh, he said the N word. He did this or he did that, or and there's no proof of that. And it's like he doesn't
Well, like I
even
said,
he doesn't
even
even
if
have
there
the
was, who cares? The kid is 10 years old. At 10 years old, you're just formulating your belief system.
right,
I don't think people are. I mean, I know people are not born racist. I mean, that's just something that is acquired.
right.
And so to be 10 years old, I don't think that a person knows if they're racist or not. They have no idea what probably even it means to be racist. The kid's formulating his positions, and this is not helping him. And I think that every person has mocked him, and especially every black person has mocked him, has done this kid a huge disservice, and they owe him an apology.
Yeah, I agree with that. How can I say it? Well, you define what the great debate community is.
The Great Debate community is a community of laypersons, experts, scholars, and people who just want to get together both in a G plus form and real time on air to discuss things dealing with science, theology, philosophy, and social commentary. We basically take all the stuff that you hear about across the internet and we have live discussions with them and actual debates with people like King Crocoduck. Even had some had 3 with Ken Hovind. Um, Holy
Yeah,
Kool-Aid, Genetically Modified Skeptic, Rachel Oates. I mean, a whole slew of people. So if anybody's interested in having those discussions or even just listening to them, come join the Great Debate. We have a pretty worldwide following at this point. Pretty big.
yeah, you really do. It's a fantastic show. Um, um, all right. Well, thank you so much, Steve. I appreciate it. And I'm gonna go lay down. I got a headache. All right. So, folks, you're listening to the Wrecking Crew Comedy Podcast. I just want you to know, please try and love each other. I know I'm not trying to sound. It's Christmas is coming up. Just try for fuck's sakes. You know. Um, you know, try and look at the. I tell everyone, look at the evidence at that Keating boy. Leave him alone. Look at the evidence and don't judge. Just you know, uh, the part that got to me was when adults start uh, bullying this boy who was bullied, and that's when I just thought, nah, that's got to stop. So just please show a little love and compassion to each other, and love and compassion will come towards you. And you don't need to be a mean. I trust me. I used to be one of the meanest fucking dudes on the planet, and it is so hard to be mean. It is. It's exhausting. Okay, But being good, being nice, um, it's wonderful. People smile, like people when people see you and just smile, they just sit and just or if I make somebody laugh, that just makes my day, you know. So try and respect each other a little more, and try and respect this boy. And if you don't, that's your problem. Keep it to yourself. Don't make a video about him. There's a million and one. Now I've made one, so this will be a million and two. So, without further ado, I'm Vito D'Amico of the Wrecking Crew. Um, if I don't talk to you, have a safe and happy holiday. If you're Jewish, happy Hanukkah. If you're Christian, Merry Christmas. If you're an atheist, rock on, baby. All right, I'll talk to you later. Ciao.